Kent is England's oldest county.
I really don't know in what sense it can be said that Kent is England's oldest county, but that is not even the most egregious thing by far that is said in this video, so check this out.
Through history. After the Romans left in the
There it is again, people talking about this early period of Anglo-Saxon history and starting off with the reductive explanation that the Romans left Britain. In the early 5th century, the Romans did not simply leave the island of Great Britain, they were expelled by the Britanno-Celts that lived there. And it's true to say that through the 4th century, the Romans were withdrawing troops from the island of Britain and putting them in other places of the empire during periods of crisis in other parts of the empire. But it is not true to say that the Romans just left Britain, right? Think about it. If you had an empire and it had a province that was wealthy and full of people, under what circumstances would you just leave the province behind? Only under the circumstance that you didn't have the troops to hold on to it and the local people in the province got mad at you and expelled your forces from the island. That is what happened in 409 AD. There was a ton of economic and civil strife going on in the province of Roman Britain, as indicated by archaeology and other things, that led to the expulsion of the Romans in the very beginning of the 5th century. But the creator's going to go on to say something laughably, outrageously incorrect, and I warned this creator and told them that they could take down this video before I make this response, and that they wouldn't have to be embarrassed by an American of all people in front of everybody if they just took down that video, and they ignored that comment. So they've received a fair warning, and they're also somebody that says they're a history student and posts content about history on their accounts, so they're presenting themselves as somebody that should be listened to and taken seriously when it comes to history, even though they're about to say this.
This left in the 5th century, England broke down into several smaller states.
Okay, he's right about to say something like even more outrageously wrong than that, but what he just said there is like absurd. Because England wouldn't exist for another several hundred years, so what he meant to say was the area that would become England later broke up into several smaller states. He's also implying, though, that Kent, Sussex, Essex, these different Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, what have you, there are more, were just parts of Roman Britain that just fractionated off after the Romans were expelled, or left, as he would say. These various Anglo-Saxon kingdoms were just parts of Roman Britain that became their own independent places, which is laughably wrong. These Anglo-Saxon kingdoms were founded a century later by settlers from the mainland. And so in the next video, I'm going to get to talking about that. But anyway, thank you so much everybody for watching. My name is Beast. Like and follow for more.